What's up, everyone, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Jonah White. I'm an apocalyptic author, and today we're going to be talking about step one when it comes to planning your book or series and what goes into that. If you haven't known already, this is part of a long multi-month series, Journey to Publication, where I follow along with you as I write my sequel, and then we talk about each step when it comes to planning your story all the way up to publishing and marketing your book. If you haven't already, feel free to like and subscribe to my channel and share my channel and help support the channel. And without further ado, let's get on with the video. Okay, so the first thing we want to make sure that we know is whether we're going to be writing a one and done story, multiple books within a genre, or we're going to be writing a series, because this is going to greatly affect how we write the story and, most important of all, how we're going to be marketing our books, especially for us self-publishers. Because if you're writing a one and done book, this is going to be pretty tricky because a lot of pressure is going to be on you to be marketing this book, because you only have one shot at this. Once you release this book, that's it. There's nothing else coming after that. And yes, you can market it after the fact, but a lot of the marketing needs to come before the launch, not after. So when it comes to like a one and done book, you have to like put a lot of time when it comes to marketing into this book. Now, if you're writing like a series, yes, you have to market it, but there is a little bit of slack that you have when it comes to this, because with each installment, you're gradually growing your audience. At least I hope you are. And plus, this allows for the series to like passively market itself. Now, don't get me wrong, you still have to do a lot of marketing when it comes to a series, but you have time on your side, because when you release that first book, let's say, for example, you only get 50 people to buy that book. I mean, it's not bad, but it's good for a first start. But once you release the second book, you get 100 people, so you get 50 new readers. And then the next book, which is the third book, you could get like 25 new readers. So over the span of like 3 books, you've gotten like 125 readers overall. So with each installment, you can allow your audience to grow over time. Whereas when you're doing a one and done story, you don't have that luxury. So you have to like really pick whether you're going to be doing a one and done or series, because this is going to greatly affect like not only your story and how it pans out, but also what type of marketing strategies you need to do. And we're going to talk more about marketing later on in this series. And again, this works well if you're doing one and done stories, if you're going to be writing multiple books within a certain genre. And I'll talk about why I recommend that you write within a certain genre if you're writing multiple books in a little bit. But even when you're doing that, you as yourself are marketing yourself as, like, let's say, for example, a horror author, and you write multiple books within that genre. You still have kind of the same luxury as a series, is where if you release each book, each one is going to be marketing itself for you, and you get the advantage of word of mouth with each installment within that certain genre. So even though you're doing one and dones, but if you keep it within that certain genre, you can get word of mouth, and you can allow each book to market itself for you, because with each one you could be potentially getting new readers. Okay, so the next thing I want to be talking about is know your genre, and this is going to feed into the third point, but I'm going to be talking about this one right now. So this is really important for you to know your genre, because if you don't really know what genre you're going to be writing in, this is going to pose a little bit of issues for you. Now, knowing your genre and knowing what you're good at is going to greatly help your writing skills, as well as like how you're able to communicate the story. Because if you're more of a romantic author, but then you're trying to go into young adults, this is going to probably show when it comes to your readers, because they're going to be able to figure out if this genre is like comfortable for you as an author. And plus, when it comes to knowing your genre, you kind of want to stick to one genre, and here's why. Because this is going to help you brand yourself as an author much more easily if you stick to like 1 or 2 genres. Because for me, I'm an apocalyptic author, and I'm writing a series in the apocalypse genre, so I can market myself as an apocalyptic author. If I were to like write a first book in romantic comedy, and the second one's apocalypse, and the third one's horror, well, it's going to be hard for people to really peg down what type of author I am, and it's going to be hard for me to brand myself or market myself as a certain type of author, because then I'm just going to be saying, well, I'm an author, or I'm an author in this. And this isn't going to sound very good when you're trying to brand yourself. Another thing about trying to like isolate your genre is that this is going to help you grow your audience. Because let's say, for example, you write multiple books or a series within the romantic genre. Well, you're allowing yourself to constantly build up your audience within that genre. But let's take an example, and I don't recommend this. Your first book is in young adults. The second one is sort of like a, let's say, an apocalypse book. Then the third one is like a horror book. Well, yeah, you could say that you have a loyal fan base that'll follow you throughout those three genres, but I would say that's going to make up a very, very tiny percentage of your readers are going to be that loyal, where they're going to be jumping from different genres with you, because most of your readers are going to be reading that romantic book that you started out with because that's something that they like, or that's a genre that they prefer. That's why they're there, and that's who you marketed it towards. And if you switched over to horror, well, most of them are not going to follow you there. So you're going to be resetting yourself. And like this is going to put a lot of pressure on you for marketing, because now you have to like rebrand yourself, remarket your product, and then now you have to like try to find a new audience within the horror genre. And then if you jump to an apocalypse genre, you have to like rebrand yourself again and remarket your book to get readers that like an apocalypse book. So I wouldn't recommend jumping from genre to genre, because then you're going to be constantly resetting yourself. You're limiting yourself to like growing your audience. And plus, I like to call this like spreading yourself too thin, where you're just throwing your skills like everywhere, and then you really can't isolate or consolidate them on something that you may be good at. I would say like put all your focus on a genre that you know you're good at and you know you can work with when it comes to like writing multiple books, or like writing within a series within the genre. Okay, so the third thing I want to talk about, and this kind of feeds into the second point, and that is know your audience, or know which writers or readers you're trying to write towards, because this is very important when it comes to like marketing, as well as like getting reviews for your book. Because let's say, for example, you're writing for your circle market, like let's say family, friends, or like maybe even classmates or something like that. Let's say your market is mainly like 40-year-olds, and then you're writing a young adults book. Well, you have to consider like you're going to if you're going to be presenting this young adults book to your group of 40-year-olds, or you're going to be trying to find a bunch of younger people that are going to be interested in your young adults book. Because if you present this to the 40-year-olds, I mean, you probably have people that are going to be nice and like read the book and enjoy it, but if you market it towards them, well, you're setting yourself up for failure when it comes to like marketing, because a lot of people are in that market will most likely not be interested in this book. So you're going to lead yourself to like fewer sales, but also you're going to lead yourself and your novel towards like mixed reviews, or like mostly negative or not so good reviews once your book is published. And that's going to hurt you in the demographics, especially when it comes to like Amazon, and they see that your book has like 3 or 2 stars or something like that. It's not that your book is bad, it's that you presented your book to the wrong audience, or like the audience doesn't like your genre and you presented it to them. So just remember that, because that can be pretty tricky if you present your book to the wrong audience, because then you could like lose morale if you see that your book is getting like mixed reviews, or there's not that many sales. It's not that your book is bad, it's just that you didn't present it to the right audience. So in summary, there are 3 points that you have to like plan out when it comes to starting your novel or series. It's like, number 1, you need to know if you're going to be doing one and done stories, multiple books within the genre, or you're going to be doing a series, because this is going to greatly influence how you write the story, as well as marketing. That's a big thing. And like how you're going to be marketing and how much time you should be dedicating towards marketing, because if you're doing a one and done book, you have to like dedicate a lot of time to this, and possibly like put your launch date at a reasonable time to like give time to market this book, because after that it's done. You can market it and like advertise it after it's launched, but it's better to do that like before the launch and build up hype, not afterwards, where your book has been out for a while and people are going to like most likely not be attracted to it like after it's released, because with a series you have more time. The second point is know your genre. I would say stick to like 1 or 2 genres at most. You don't want to be jumping from genre to genre, because that's going to hurt you with marketing, because you're going to be jumping from each one, resetting yourself when it comes to marketing and trying to find a new audience. And plus you're spreading your skills way too thin if you're trying to like jump to every single genre. Find your talents and then like isolate them to like 1 or 2 genres. Okay, so the third point is obviously like know your audience, because you don't want to be presenting a horror book to a romantic audience, because you're going to like lead yourself up to like failure when it comes to book sales, as well as like getting mixed reviews. And this is going to like devastate you as a reader and possibly break your morale, because you're going to think that your book was bad, but when in fact it's not bad. Most likely it's just that you presented it to the wrong audience, or your market wasn't the right type of audience to market towards. So if you have a horror genre and the people around you are mostly like into romantics, you might want to consider redirecting your marketing towards a new audience and finding people that are interested in horror. Okay, so those are like some of the steps that you need to plan out before you start writing that book. So next time we're going to be talking about how to plan out your story, your characters, and arcs when it comes to like a one and done book versus a series or like multiple books. But multiple books isn't really going to play a big deal into that, but we're going to be mostly talking about one and done books and long series. So if you enjoyed this series so far, feel free to like and subscribe. We're going to be continuing on all the way up until the publication phase, and right now I'm writing a sequel right now for my Apocalypse series. It's called Shadows of Darkness series, and I'm also writing a spin-off book right now right alongside you guys, so that way I can release like content based on what I've learned so far and what I've learned in the past when I released my first book. So without further ado, I'll see you next time. Goodbye.